Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers, Yalla.
Brother Marcos.
Coming back at you with another cold cut. All praises to Yahweh Shah Shabbat. All right, happy Sabbath. Get this day to meditate upon the works of the Lord. There's going to be another quick cold cut. Going into not giving your strength unto women, chiefly dedicated to the men. But as women, if you have a son, or whatever, you got to teach your son this as well, because women can lead to your son's destruction, your brother's destruction. If you are giving your strength unto a woman. Chiefly when you're reading this Bible, it's dedicated to the men of the Lord. It's really that's why it's personified as a man, and wisdom as a woman is dedicated to the sons of God. If you really want to be truthful, of course, those women are needed as well. But understanding mighty men have fallen to the power of a woman. So this is more of an admonishment to those men to understand how to carry yourself and how to move in a certain way. I'm going to Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 4. All right. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 8 and verse number 4. And it says, "Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men." So the Lord is telling you who these things are really dedicated to. His voice is to the sons of men. The men have to get the nation in order. The men have to rise up and get everybody in order, man. I'm going to Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 8. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 8. "Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors." So the Lord is telling our men to show ourselves men. To be a man, if you're a child, you're a man-child, as it says, man, in Deuteronomy chapter 12. Or Leviticus chapter 12 and 2 on down. So the Lord is telling us to be men in these last days. And one way on how to be a man is understand the weaknesses and what can you be a weakness. And that's one of those ways are women. Let me get one more precept. This is Ezekiel chapter 34. Just to kind of harp on that. This is Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse number 31. Why you're being sexist? Why are you saying that? Hey, this is the truth. This is the truth of God, and you're not dealing with emotions. This is what it is. Just read the Bible. How many strong men have fallen by the tongue of a woman in her beauty? This is Ezekiel chapter 34 and 31. "And you, my flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord God." So he said the flock of my pasture are men. So the Lord is reaching out to the sons of men, especially in these last days, to raise up the nation. You got it.
It's the book of First Esdras chapter 4 and verse number 1. It says, then the second that had spoken of the strength of the king began to say, O ye men, do not men excel in strength, that bear rule over sea and land and all things in them? Right? So the Lord said that men bear rule over all things. So in your household, you're supposed to bear rule. Where you lead in a congregation, leading the kingdom, etc. You all see all throughout history it's all men. Right? You rarely see just a woman. Right? So woman is so-called queen. She has no husband. She has no king, etc. It's just a woman, and that's it. Now, all throughout history, you namely see the men ruling. Why? Because like the brother brought out in Proverbs, the 8th chapter, you have the Lord dealing with the men, namely. It says, verse 3, but yet the king is more mighty, for he is Lord of all these things, and have dominion over them, and whatsoever he commandeth, them they do. It said, whatsoever he commands them they do. And you have men that know how to establish order. Right? A man is more inclined to being a leader because a man doesn't have emotions like women. Right? Let's go to the book of Esther. Right. Men have to. Men has different skills that women. And that's not saying the man is better than a woman. If it wasn't for man A, B, and C, no, the Lord doesn't just balance. Right. The Lord deals with both the men and the women, but He does it in different ways. You have, when you read the book of Esther, you have a queen by the name of Vashti. Now this is the book of Esther. I believe that's the first chapter. It's the book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse number, let's start at verse 16. It says, and Mehucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the province of the king of Asuras. So you read this chapter, you read how King Asuras, he had a so-called queen named Vashti. Now he set up this whole banquet for this queen, for this woman, right? He did everything for this woman, etc. He trying to show her off to everybody, and she kind of never showed up. So he did all this thing for this one woman, and she never showed up. I actually want to get the context. I'm gonna jump up to verse number 11. It says, this whole thing good. I'm gonna start at verse 9. I'm gonna jump. It says, also Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuam and Biztha and Horbona and Bigtha and Abitha and Zethar and Carcass and the 7 chamberlains that served in the princes of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So you had King Ahasuerus, right, which is Xerxes the first. He tried to bring Queen Vashti and show her off before everybody. Right now, jumping down to verse 18. I'm gonna start at verse 15. It says, what shall we do unto the Queen Vashti according to the law? Right, because she never showed up. So this man put a strength unto a woman that never showed up, that didn't care about it. Right, it says, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And jump down again, verse 18, it says, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard the deed of the queen. Right, because when she did this, that can put a spirit on the rest of the women of the province. Right, that can put that so-called independent spirit. Right, that's why America does that now, to kind of get that, trying to switch the roles of that women to being a man and I can do it all by myself. So in order to stop that spirit from going on in this provinces, right, this is what King Ahasuerus did. Look at it again. It says, verse 18, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there also too much content and wrath. And if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and of the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So he said, to hell with Vashti, I'm gonna give me another one that's better than she is. And that's how the king moved back then. That's how men moved back then. Men knew that they had the preeminence over women. And it shouldn't be, okay, well, hey, even though I did all this, you never showed up, I guess it is what it is. Then you bow down to her, you giving her rings, and you trying to take her out on dates. You trying to cheer her up because she never pulled through. How you trying to cheer her up when she was in the wrong? That's the mindset of men nowadays. But back then, you had the slightest thing, if a woman did something, man said, you know, I'm not dealing with this. Right? And this is a heathen. How much more an Israelite, a prince who has power with the Most High God, how much more should you move with the mindset of having the righteous preeminence within your household? Right? But you got it.
That's right. I mean, let's go to Proverbs chapter 31. Right? It's Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So his mom is about to teach him something about a prophecy, about a woman. What my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. So why is a woman saying this to her son? She's telling her son, don't let women destroy you, because women can't destroy kings. I mean, that happened all throughout history. I mean, let's just go to the book of Judith. All right, let's just pull up the account. All right, of a woman destroying a man. Right now, this is for the greater good of our people. Nonetheless, this mighty king has fallen by the hands of a woman. It's just Judith chapter 12 and verse 15. She took the head out of the bag and showed it, and said unto them, behold, the head of Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Ashur. Judith had the head of the captain of the army of the Assyrians, man. And behold, the canopy wherein he did lie in his drunkenness, and the Lord have smitten him by the hand of a woman. So this chief captain, this mighty man, had probably killed hundreds of thousands of people, led the biggest wars, invaded countries, invaded villages, killed people, commanded people to be put to death, burned houses, did a lot of acts of war, and he died by the hand of a woman. Let's see how. Verse 16, as the Lord liveth, who have kept me in the way that I went, my countenance have deceived him to his destruction. And yet hath he not committed sin with me to defile and shame me. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to defile. He wanted to shame. He had imaginations on what he can do with Judith and what he was going to do in his drunkenness. And guess what? Her countenance, her beauty deceived him to his own destruction, where he lay dead and she now has his head, man. I mean, that's why in Proverbs 31:3 it says, "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings," man. Because women can destroy you as a king. Women can spiritually take your head out of their bag, man. And now you're just giving unto her. Right, let me go to the book of Sirach, Sirach 19. All right, it's Sirach chapter 19, in verse 2. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away, and he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent, man. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away. I mean, you had understanding, you have knowledge, you know prophecies, you know certain wisdom, you know certain knowledge. But once you get a bottle, and once you get that woman, guess what? Now you're deceived to your destruction. We just read about it. Holofernes, man, was deceived to his destruction through drunkenness and a beautiful woman. We see these things all the time. Hey, let's go to the book of Nehemiah. Now, what did Nehemiah say? All right, this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13. Let's start at verse 25. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by the Most High, saying, You shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. King Solomon gave you the book of Proverbs, gave you the book of Ecclesiastes, Wisdom of Solomon. King Solomon wrote these things, man, and even women caused him to fall. And there was no other king like him, man, in that time period in the land. That was King Solomon. So if King Solomon was tempted, and King Solomon has all this wisdom and knowledge, brother, you can, well, I ain't gonna let no woman. Brother, you can fall to a woman too. It takes one woman. It takes one yes. And next you know, your heart can incline unto that destruction. Not saying not to get a woman, of course. Do that if your heart wants to. But you have to know how to have certain standards and discipline set up for yourself. And you have to know the drawbacks of what it also means when you do get a woman, and what she can do to you, and what power she can have on your mind. I mean, in the book of Sirach, it says, don't give me the plague of the heart, man. Right? Let me go to Sirach chapter 26. See if it's the precept I want.
That's 25.
25? Should be 26.
25 and 13.
All right, 25, 13.
That might be.
Kanye. It's Sirach the water. It's Sirach chapter 25 and verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. Right? He said, give me any plague. Give me any scorpions in my house. You got boils on you.
10 plagues of Egypt.
Yeah, the plagues of Egypt is all in your house. Your neighbors, what the hell is going on down there? Right? And all you see is just, you got this frogs leaping around. You got, your sink is just coming out water, blood. It's crazy in your house.
Man, animals died.
Animals dying in your house. You got a sheep that just died in your closet for no reason. It's crazy. But he said, give me everything. But what? And any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman. Any wickedness, getting your car get broken into, and then they broke into your house, and then they break into your bank account. You don't know how, and you just broke. and you just got any plague and any wickedness. But hey, give me all of that except for a woman, man. Why? Verse 14. And any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. But the point is, man, that a woman can make a man just fall away, make him impudent, make him become a heartless child. All right, let me go to the book of 1 Ezra chapter 4. All right, this is the book of 1 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women. And now do you not believe me? Is it not the king great in his power? Do not all regions fear to touch him? Yet did I see him and Apame, the king's concubine, the daughter of Admiral Bardicus, sitting at the right hand of the king. So he's about to give an account of what happened to Bardicus and the daughter Apame. Sitting in verse 30, and taking the crown from the king's head and set it upon her own head. She took his crown. She said, give me this, right? And put it on her head, man. And he probably smiling. Oh, you look so good with that, right? And what? She also stroked the king with her left hand. She just stroked him like a dog, right? Yeah, I'm really the ruler of this kingdom, right? Verse 31, and yet for all this, the king gazed. It's like the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth, like a damn dog, man, right? And it says, if she laughed upon him, he laughed also. But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter that she might be reconciled to him again. Meaning he started simping. What's going on? Why are you so sad? She started laughing and just looked away and just crossed her arms. What's going on? Why you was just good? We were just doing good. What's going on? What's happening? You okay? You hungry? Oh yeah. Servants. All right. Give her some food. No, I don't want food. Okay. Servants. Go do her nails. I don't want my nails done. And she not telling you the reason why. And he twisting and turning that night because he don't know why his woman mad. And then as soon as she laughed, now he in a good mood. That's what women can do to you, man. Just start simping, making songs. You know, people got famous off that. They making songs, right? They don't even want the money. They just want their girl back. Yeah. You know, and the girl just been through the city and they don't care. Just come back to me, my love. Hey, as a man, you gotta understand women can destroy you. What you got?
Yeah, you got. I mean, a lot of these songs you don't really listen to the lyrics. Then you just sit back and listen to the lyrics one day. You just find out it's all madness and simping. Your woman done lay down with the whole city. Then you still making a song, have her come back.
And you say I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saying you're sorry. You don't know why you saying you're sorry.
I should have watched over you better.
Yeah, she should. And she over here playing the song. And, yeah, look at this nigga. Yeah. She getting she just feeding off that energy, right? But let me get this quick precept. This Numbers chapter 27 and verse number 16. I'm sorry, verse 15. It says, and Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, let the Lord, the God of all the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. Again, as a man, you should be having things in order. You should be the one that set over your household, not your woman. Your woman, she don't work. You do all the working, but she tell you to wash the dishes, take your shoes off before you come in, brush your damn teeth. She telling you do all this. Well, hold on, brother. The Lord said he put you over the congregation. He put you over the household. Let me get this in the book of Sirach.
Matching pajamas.
Yeah, somebody put these on.
Yeah.
She making your clothes for work. Let me get this quick preview. It's It's Sirach chapter 33 and verse number 22. Right? And she making your clothes for work. You go to work, you a damn construction worker. And she give you pajamas to put on. You say, but I can't wear it. She say, hey, nigga. And do you still do it?
Yeah, you got to go back to the school and she out there at camp. That's off.
Yeah, she going to camp while you at the school and preparing her food.
Yeah.
It's Sirach chapter 33 and verse 22. It says, in all thy works, keep to thy... Let me start at verse 20. It says, as long as thou livest and hast breath in thee, give not thyself over to any. The Lord said, as a man, as long as you live, don't give yourself over to nothing, right? Don't give yourself over to a woman, to your children, to your job, right? Don't give yourself over to any. It says what? Verse 21. For better is it that thy children should seek to thee than that thou shouldest stand in their courtesy. It says, in all thy works, keep to thyself the preeminence, leave not a stain in thy honor. The Lord said, in all things leave yourself the preeminence and don't leave a stain in your honor. Right, reading on, it says, verse 23, at that time when thou shalt end thy days and finish thy life, distribute thine inheritance. It's like Edison on that. Nevertheless, the Lord said, you don't want to put a stain in your honor. How do you put a stain in your honor? By giving your strength and your whole life over to vanity. Things that don't profit you. Right, let's go to the book of 1 Esdras. Now, the brother hit verse 27. I want to jump up. Right, this 1 Esdras chapter 4 and verse number, it was a point that I wanted. 1 Esdras chapter 4 and verse number 14. Verse 13, it says, then the third wrote, who has spoken of women and of the truth. This was Zerubbabel began to speak. O ye men, is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth over them, or hath lordship over them? Are they not women? So Zerubbabel said that women have lordship over all things, over the king, over man. Why? Because again, men, they get seduced and enticed by women. Are you brought up? I don't think you brought up Proverbs 7. Let's get that in Proverbs the 7th chapter. You got certain women just by their beauty can deceive a whole man. That's like America. Through the beauty of America and how she looks to other nations, the whole world's been deceived. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 20 and verse. This whole thing is fire too. Proverbs chapter 20, and I'm gonna start at verse number. Start at verse 5. It says, "They that they may keep thee from the strange woman which flattereth with her lips." It says, "For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones I discern among the youth a young man void of understanding." So he said, you have this woman with flattering lips. Then he looked out the window of his case house, and he said, a young man that's void of understanding, meaning he's lacking knowledge. It says, verse 8, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way of her house in the twilight and the evening of the black and dark night, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtile of heart. So you have certain women, they can just overthrow you if you're simple, right? They got the good words, right? They calling you king, saying shalom adawan. Hey, it's certain women in this, even in this truth, right? They have wandering eyes. They're always talking to every brother. You go to a feast day, you see her talking to this brother, and she talks to this brother, but she got a husband, right? She you going back to the school, the women cooking, and she got on perverse short dresses, right? Dresses super tight. So again, you got certain women that have that attire of a harlot that can just deceive a man, right? Verse 11, it says, she is loud and stubborn, and her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth wait at every corner. Right, on another fold, this is talking about seducing doctrines and philosophies, but this can also be applied to actual women, right? Because women, again, let's go to Sirach, let's go to Job. Let's go to Job chapter 31 and verse 1. Right, again, that's why this just about the beauty of a woman, a man can get deceived. That's why Job said this. It's the book of Job chapter 31 and verse 1. I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a woman? So Job said he's not even going to think upon a woman, right? He's not going to be gazing at, because again, a woman, now that's not saying it's a sin to want to get a woman, but again, you want to make sure that you don't fall into just burning in your lust over women. I know a brother asked this question. He said, is it off if I just lust after every woman that look beautiful? I said, yeah, brother, you going off. Yeah, brother, you going out of, no, it's a sincere question, but nevertheless, you don't want to be lusting after every woman you see. Right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 9, and verse number 5. It says, gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. So you don't want to gaze upon a maid and then you damn fall into all the things that's precious of her. Right, you like her because she got a nice smile. Right, you like her because she know how to cook. She know how to clean. She look good. She dress good. Last time I checked, the Lord said in the book of Proverbs, the 31st chapter. Right, let's get Proverbs chapter 31 and verse number 30. Right, this is the book of Proverbs chapter 31 and 30. It says, favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. So the Lord said all that beauty, all that stuff that women come with, that all they have to offer is beauty. The Lord said that's vain. Right? It says what? It says, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. So a woman that actually fears the Most High, that keeps the statutes, the commandments, she's striving her best to be a Proverbs 31 woman. She's going through the precepts. She's on fire without nobody having to force her to be on fire. She's actually in this truth because she loves the Lord and not because somebody dragged her into it and now she got to deal with it. No, the Lord said a woman that fears him, she's the one that's going to be praised. Right, what you got it.
This is Sirach 25 and 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. So the first thing you want to, if you look at a woman, you don't want to desire her for pleasure. Right. You got men as undressed women with his eyes. It's like, yeah, I can see it now. All right, what are you talking about, brother? You can see, he whispers to himself, I can see it now. Brother, what are you talking about? Snap out of it. And he was in a trance. He doing all of this. Oh, man, where was I at? Right, what time is it? Brother, stop, brother. Because he lusted and his mind was taken prisoner like Holofernes, man, in the book of Judith. So the Lord said, don't stumble at the beauty of a woman, you kings, you princes. All right, this is the book of 2 Samuel. Because what happens if you do that? We have a king that did that. Right, King Solomon did it over 1,000 times, but his father did it one crucial time. Right, it's 2 Samuel chapter 12 and verse 1. And it came to pass that after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and all his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. That was his first mistake, because why didn't he go to war? He tarried at Jerusalem. Didn't Lot's wife tarry? It wasn't Lot tarrying to get out of certain situations. The angels had to kind of get him up out of there. You don't want to tarry in this thing, because if you tarry, that's when sin befalls you. Satan is like a roaring lion. What happens when that sheep starts to tarry and is left in the back? David got left in the back. Guess what? Satan came immediately. Verse 2, and it came to pass at evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And you got to think about this in the spirit. He kind of walked past one time. He kind of did a double take. Next thing you know, he walking back a few times. You know, he had to sit there for 5 minutes just looking, analyzing, examining every body part, man. And then what happened? And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So that's the Most High kind of reminded him, like, you know, this is somebody else's wife, right? Right? And guess what? And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. Right? Because, I mean, the woman's the weaker vessel. She could have said, no, you're my husband is in your army. I'm going to tell, and I'm not doing this. No. But guess what? She just laid with, that's King David, man. She came in and laid with him. Right? Didn't ask no question. Where's the account that she asked him questions? She just came, man. And David did his thing, and guess what? And you can read the rest of the chapter to find out what happened, how the Most High was very displeased with that thing that King David did. But nonetheless, he stumbled at the beauty of a woman. And guess what? He fell and desired her for pleasure. The first thing he seen her when she was naked. You think he's thinking about taking her out to dinner? You think he's thinking about, you know, just going over the precepts and having it and showing her out of zeal for the Lord? Nah, he brought her in the house to do his thing, man. And that's called lust. All right, we'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 6. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 6. Let's start at verse 24. And it says, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Because a woman can flatter you with her words. She's saying the right things. Right? And it says, lust not after her beauty in thine hearts, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Right? For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. Meaning you're going to be brought to nothing, brother. You had everything. You lost all your money because you bought her a car. Right? You paid her rent, her phone bill. You're paying for a child's fruit snacks. Brother, come on, man. Right? And it says, For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. I mean, when you're dealing with a woman, come on, what does it mean to be a hunter? You're patient. You know exactly who you want and when you want it. You're just waiting for the perfect time. You're very subtle. A hunter has to be subtle. You get one inbox. It turns into 2 biblical questions. Now it's a breakdown. You're doing a breakdown in the messages. It's paragraphs of just precepts. Now you hop on the phone to go over some chapters, and now it's a reading session. Next you know, you're going over there to kind of do an in-depth breakdown of Daniel, the 3rd chapter. You see that? And now next thing you know, you lay with this woman, and she was courting 7 men. She has a prospect list of her own. She got a prospect chat, right, with the 7 men, seeing who can. That's all. You see what I'm saying? And now she's hunting for the precious life, man. Right? It says, can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burnt? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burnt? Yeah, it's impossible. You're going on hot coals, brother, your feet gonna be burnt. I don't know what the Moabites doing over there, but your feet gonna be burnt, man. Right? And it says, so he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whoso toucheth her shall not be innocent. You see that? If you touching a woman that's already married, already committed adultery, she already, you know, you can tell a woman by her looks. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? And she's a whore. If you touch her, you ain't gonna be innocent, man. And we already know the Most High is the ultimate judge at the end of the day. All right, let me get this one real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 3. All right, we get this book in Isaiah chapter 3. Sorry, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. So if women are ruling over men, and the Lord said they which lead thee cause thee to err, if a woman is ruling over you as a man, you're gonna be erring. You're gonna be in error, man, with the Lord, and your pathways will be destroyed, man. All right, let me get one more precept. It's the book of 1 Kings. Look what happened with this king right here. This is 1 Kings chapter 21. All right. This 1 Kings chapter 21. And I'll start at verse 2. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. So Ahab wanted Naboth's vineyard. He said, I can either give you a better vineyard, or I can give you some money. And what he say? And Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbid it me, that I shall give the inheritance of my father unto thee. And Ahab came into his house, so he kind of had his head down. He went back home. He was disappointed. That transaction didn't go through for the day. He came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite has spoken to him. For he has said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. So he was depressed. He didn't want to eat no food. He just went to sleep. Let's jump down to verse 7. And Jezebel, his wife, said unto him, doest thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Well, hold on. This is his wife. She said, get up and eat. I'm going to get you that vineyard. Aren't you the king? How's she going to get him the vineyard? Right? So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal. She said, give me that pen. Come here, man. Right? Smacked his head a little bit. Right? And it says, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters saying, proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And set 2 men, stones of Belial before him, sons of Belial before him, to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. And that's what she did, man. She said, give me this, give me everything. You go back to bed. I'm going to handle this. Okay. And that's what she did, man. And that's what happens when you give power unto your woman. Another person died, man, just because he kept the law in Leviticus 25. He kept the law in Deuteronomy chapter 19 and didn't want to give up his vineyard. What you got?
Yeah. Naboth was a super simp. Right. This 1 Kings 18 and verse number 1. It says, and it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, go shew thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Elijah went to shew himself unto Ahab. And there was a sore famine in Samaria, And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly, for it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water. So this man's wife killed the prophets. What possibly can you be doing to you just allowing your wife to kill the prophets, right? Finesse vineyards, right? Kill individual people. Again, you have Ahab. Ahab is the king. Why isn't he setting order or rule in his own house? The Lord said in Sirach chapter 27 and verse number 3, the classic. Right, this Sirach chapter 27 and verse number 3. It says, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. So Ahab's house was all upside down. It was all overthrown. Right, like the brother brought out in I believe that was Isaiah the 3rd chapter, verse 16. Right, the brother brought that out. Nevertheless, this man's household was all overthrown. Why? Because he couldn't bear rule over it. Right, let's go to the book of Numbers. Right, let's go to the book of Numbers. Right, this is the book of Numbers. Right, the Lord had to get up with Miriam. Why? Because Miriam began to step out of place. Again, in the ancient world, everything was different. It wasn't normal for a woman to step out of place. Right, things like that weren't just happening every day like now. Nowadays, you got videos of baby mamas, they burning up your Jordans because you didn't pay child support, and all hell breaking loose. They flipping over the house. They getting another man whenever they want. Right, so it's the book of Numbers, right? It's the book of Numbers, chapter 12, and verse number 1. It says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken by us, also by us? And the Lord heard it. Now you jump down later in the chapter, right? You have Miriam that spoke up against Moses. It's the book of Numbers chapter 13, right? The next chapter, verse number 1. It says, Numbers chapter 12 and verse number 10. It says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So you have both Aaron and Miriam coming up against Moses. But what happened in this situation, the Lord only judged Miriam, right? And she literally got smote with leprosy, which was like the Lord and his way spitting in her face. And again, this is how the Lord got down. Miriam, she should have stayed in the woman's place. Like Miriam should have said, okay, Khan, the Lord did set you up, etc. Same thing with Aaron. But nevertheless, the Lord had to get on Miriam. Because again, as a woman, you shouldn't even be speaking up in the midst of the congregation. The brother brought it out in the book of Proverbs already, chapter 8 and verse 4. The Lord is speaking to the sons of men. You concerning yourself in matters that don't even concern you. Right? Trying to get up high and mighty and judge the people, etc. Well, let's go to the book of Judith, chapter 10 and verse 21, I believe. Judith chapter 10 and verse number 21. Right? Because Judith knew how to conduct herself. It says she had both beauty and wisdom. Right? This is the book of Judith chapter 10 and verse number 21. And it reads, let me find this quick precept. It's the book of Judith. Let me find this real quick. I believe that's Judith. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
I believe it's Judith 10 and 21, which said both beauty and wisdom. It's like in Judith chapter 11. Yeah, Judith 11 and 21. It says, there is not such a woman from one end of the earth to the other, both of beauty of face and wisdom of words. So yeah, Judith was beautiful, but she also moved in with the spirit of wisdom. Judith had wisdom, right? Judith just wasn't a woman that moved all of beauty. As a woman, as a brother, you should look for a woman that has the attributes of being wise, right? A beautiful sister that has the attributes, again, that you read about in Proverbs 31, and not get you a woman that just gathers abroad in the streets, right? A reckless woman. Let's go to Sirach, the 25th chapter. The book of Sirach, chapter 25, and verse number, Sirach chapter 25, and verse 16. It said, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep company. It's like than to keep house with the wicked woman. Right? So the Lord said, what Sirach said through the Spirit, he'd rather keep company with the lion and the dragon than with the wicked woman. Let's go to Sirach chapter 7.
That's right.
Sirach chapter 7 and verse number 19, I believe. It's the book of Sirach chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 25. Sirach chapter 7 and verse 25. It says, marry thy daughter, and so thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. Right? And when you go into that word light woman, it says a hateful woman. So you don't want to give your strength over to a hateful or a light-headed woman. A woman that don't know what's going on.
A woman, a hater.
Yeah, you just giving yourself over to her. She always backbiting about another sister. And you feeding into it. You saying, yeah, you're right. Con.
Who you looking good for today? Why are you looking so good?
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Yeah, she actually mad at you. And then she don't let you leave out the house.
Yeah, you don't let you. She said, shut up. And you say, yes, ma'am.
All right, then you got to go to camp. And she won't even let you go to camp.
Right.
She damn, here's your car keys. Here's your wallet. Why? All because you gave yourself over to a light woman. You don't want to be giving yourself and your strength over to a light woman whatsoever. I got one more. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. All right, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse number, 7 to 26.
Nah.
This is Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse number 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So I mean, if you want a good woman, it's just as simple as this: is be on fire, right? Be on fire. Because if you're not on fire and you try to pick out a woman through just lust and your own mind, you can't wait. You don't court the sister, right? You don't damn ask her questions, get to know her. Just do it out of lust, right? The Lord is gonna give you over to all hell, right? Let me read that again. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. So you're gonna be trapped up for the rest of your life if you choose to move with lust. Right? It says what? It says, in her hands as bands, whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Right? And again, you got certain women that'll take advantage of certain men. They been with 5 different men, right? Going through so-called processes of divorcement, getting with the next man. You go through the sister history, and the truth, she got damn 5 husbands. And they all still alive. She don't fall out to the law. Okay, they died. Maybe gotta find a note. They're all still alive. And she going from congregation to congregation, getting multiple husbands.
Alive and healthy.
Right. They all
fruits.
Yeah.
They're not going nowhere.
At all. They not in jail. They still out. They still shaking their hands. Somehow that woman departed and damn got another husband. She done changed her name, her identity, changed her Instagram bio. It's all madness. But you get it.
I'm gonna get this last precept. This 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. The point of the matter is, it's okay, like so you can get a wife. Of course, it's a beautiful thing to get a wife. Let me go to Sirach chapter 25. What we're just saying is be very wary. At the end of the day, wisdom is a woman. That's your first wife. This Sirach 25 and 1. In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful, both before Yahweh and men, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, and a man and wife that agree together. So it's a good thing to get a wife. Marriage is honorable, that tells you Hebrews 13 and 4. But the point of the matter is, you want to make sure that you focus on being a man first and taking care of what you got to take care of. And when you do get a woman, you have to understand what can come with that as well. Just read 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter. But it says 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 3. Watch ye and stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men. That word quit means act. The Lord's saying, act like men. Be strong. And that's all it is to it. Be like a man. Watch. Stand fast in his face and be strong.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 1. Like the brother said, it's always a just balance. Lord willing, we can go into that in the next video. The good attributes of a woman. Nevertheless, this Sirach 26 and 1. It says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Right? In this whole chapter, this whole thing kind of fire. Nevertheless, as a brother or even as a wife, you should strive to move like the righteous men and women, the examples that we have written of. And again, every woman is not a Proverbs 7 woman. Right? Every woman is not wicked. Every woman is not damn Jezebel. Nevertheless, there is a lot of women like that. And you do have a lot of righteous women that also follow the precepts. So if that applies to, if you're a woman, you feel like you're getting cut up, well, maybe you should self-examine, right? Maybe you should self-examine. And as a brother, if you already, kind of dealing with women, then Lord willing, and this was a little bit more wisdom to let you know how to move by it through the Spirit and grace of the Most High.
And with that, we'd like to give our praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Lord, when you took some notes, have a mighty rest of the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath holy. And like that, we'd like to say all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, be the mighty strong Shalom.
Shalom.